Hey, it's Kane and
Alessia.
And we're here with Dean Graziosi today to talk about how and why is it so important to find your calling and get your value proposition really dialed in the marketplace.
Why is it important to really position yourself in a marketplace and being able to communicate quickly? How are you different? Who are you focusing on? And what problem are you solving for them? And let's hear from Dean. Why is that so important for service providers, experts, etc.
Great
to
question.
position
And plus,
themselves?
you guys are so cute together. I love it. Reminds me of my wife. I love it. She goes everywhere I go, so it's good to see you guys.
It's a good thing we're cute because
and
we
they're
have to
really
live
nice
with each other.
behind the scenes, right? They're not like monsters and then they pretend to like each other, right? So it's awesome. I'm
Well,
happy
no.
for you guys.
We have our moments.
I haven't seen it. So, listen, in today's world, when you want to be in the knowledge industry, have a knowledge-based product, service, do masterminds, groups, what happens is people get paralyzed because they think, oh my God, there's so many people in fitness. There's so many people in health. There's so many people in, what Tony and I are working on. We've identified 4,300 different niches, right? So people are like, how do I get my voice? And I think that question is so powerful because the world has changed. When I started 24 years ago, had to be an infomercial. You couldn't target right now, if you wanted to target, new moms that make $100,000 a year that like Pilates and eat sushi, we could find them on Instagram, right? So I guess the value proposition is easy. The other part, why should you find your calling? Because I think we're all meant for more. So like on a high level, it's like, how cool would it be to wake up every day and you're doing something where you're impacting lives. You love what you do. People always ask me, what's your favorite sport? What's your favorite hobby? The truth is, I like being with my family or working because I love what I do. So on the high level, it's like loving what you do, like I know you guys do, is just the biggest game changer in the world. On the value proposition side, what the world has done, social media has been using everybody for so long, it's time we use it, right? So if you think about it, my wife, when I met her, she was voted 10 years in a row the best hairstylist in Arizona.
Wow.
She makes about 10 times what the average hairstylist makes.
Oh, wow.
And she's a professional with extensions, right? So she's like, next year. Yeah,
maybe I should meet her.
You should. So, but the thing
See the
is,
positioning immediately? I'm attracted to that.
Exactly.
I'm like, wow, I should meet this woman.
And it's clear exactly what she
Yeah.
does. She does what she loves to do, which is the whole idea behind creating a business where you love what you do and you're clear to the market.
Right, exactly. But here's the part where it's even more clear. Like, she loves what I do so much. We're doing a first mastermind for her. She wants to give back. Now, if she just said, this is where the world has changed. If she just said, I want to teach people how to be better hairstylists. That's so broad that you'd be competing with tens of thousands of other people. But we go a niche within a niche. It's not hairstyling, it's extensions. And it's not just extensions. So it's up here hairstyling, then just extensions. But she uses a special method of extensions that's natural hair. It doesn't hurt your head, doesn't give you a headache, makes women look beautiful. So she knows she's great at this. And the world has allowed us through social media that she can target people who just want those extensions. Yeah. So she gets to do what she knows. She loves making women look more beautiful. That's her thing. Yeah. She only serves women. And she knows she loves it through extensions and only this particular one. So when she goes out to the market, she's only looking for that exact woman, and she could target them on social media, and it's just changed the world. And that's why, when Tony started, my partner Tony Robbins started 40 years ago, that didn't exist. When I started 24 years ago, we had to cast wide nets. Yeah. And I guess the shortest answer is now we can use a laser rather than like the shotgun approach.
Yeah. Hey, it's Kane from Kane Alessia and Industry Rockstar, and we're here today with Dean Graziosi talking about how to find your genius and why is it so important that you connect with and bring out your genius into your business. So, Dean, what is your genius? What's your genius? And why is it so important for people to discover what they're so extraordinary at for their businesses?
Because, it's simple as this. People will learn from you. People will buy from you. People will refer you when they feel understood. Not when they just understand you. And our world has allowed us to fine-tune what our unique core competency is, right? Like in a world 25 years ago when we couldn't niche down, when we didn't have Facebook and YouTube extracting every bit of data. Like when I'm going to be a new dad, we're talking about being a dad, and I look on my Facebook feed and there's strollers. I'm like, I didn't even type this in, right? So Facebook and Instagram.
It's a little scary.
It is.
Actually.
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, they're collecting every bit of data on us. And the thing is, especially in the information business, when you can climb in to really understand your competency, your superpower, I love to call it, just because it's a simple word. Most of us have unconscious competence. We're good at something. We've been through a really hard experience in our life, and we came out stronger. And there's people starting on day one, getting ready to go through that hell, and we could prevent that. right? We've been an accountant for 20 years. There's hundreds of thousands of people starting day one as an accountant. Why would they waste 20 years when you could teach them? But unless you know your genius inside that, right? You're not just an accountant. Maybe you were good at merger and acquisitions. Maybe you were good at tax returns. Maybe you were good at saving a company money. And the world has gotten so we just want to learn these narrow swimming lanes.
Yeah.
So to take the time to figure out your genius, figure out your superpower is one of the most powerful assets in today's world, that if we had this conversation with my dad or somebody 25 years ago, like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah.
You need to just work hard. Doesn't matter if you like it. Doesn't matter if you're a genius. You put the bolt on that nut and that's how you get paid, right?
Yeah.
But those days are gone.
You know, the first time I ever spoke on stage with Tony Robbins, we were hanging out backstage. We were in London, 15,000 people. And before we went on, I said, Tony, can you tell me one thing that I can share with people around the world? We talk to 50,000 business owners a year. And he says, tell people they undervalue themselves.
Yeah.
And that
Wow.
really,
What
you know, he could have said anything, right?
Yeah.
And that hit me, and we shared a lot because I think people undervalue their genius.
They do.
They've got
They
all
do.
this
And
talent.
we see it all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes, again, your genius is one thing, a skill, a passion, a hobby, right? If the best way I describe it to people is, what would it be worth to you to go back and spend a day with your 20-year-old self? Right? When people say, I don't think I have a genius. I'm like, so if you went back to your 20-year-old self, you'd have nothing to say? I'm like, oh no. I teach them when it comes to marketing, do this. I would teach them when it comes to stories in your head, kill those stories. I'm like, so you'll have a little value? Like, oh my God, it's worth millions. I'm like, okay. There's somebody that's your 20-year-old, 30-year-old, 40-year-old self that needs what you have in your head because you've gone through that experience and you could shortcut their lives. And when you realize that power, I mean, think about what you do. Think about what I get to do. We get to impact people's lives. We get to learn stuff, share it. We get to discover stuff our own, share it. They go faster, they go quicker, and we get to create a company doing it. I'm like, oh my God, right? There's a million things we could have been doing. We're in this space, and now the world, it's opened up for everybody to be in it.
Hi, this is Alessia from Kane Alessia, an Industry Rockstar, and today I'm here with Dean Graziosi, and we were just talking about the importance for knowledge-based businesses and experts to really identify a specific offer sequence, because we know that most experts in the world are in that situation where either they have a small offer and they feel like they constantly need more leads, and they say, I need more leads, I need more marketing, and really they don't have lifetime value for their clients, or they have only a big offer and then they feel like it takes so much effort to convert.
Yes.
So then why is it important for them to really identify a strong offer sequence that they can rely on?
Well, you said a word that most people are never taught, and that's lifetime value. And again, I like to pre-frame everything of saying, love what you do on every level, right? Know that you're changing people. Like, if you don't love what you do, go fix it. Before I give marketing advice, I always tell people that. Like, I don't want to teach somebody who sells drugs how to be better at sales, right? But if you have something impacts people's lives, you must have an order sequence, or there's no way to sustain in today's world. Marketing's too expensive. So you see that. Somebody writes a book. They take 2 years to write a book, and they make a book offer, and they think they can make money selling a book. It never happens. So my best advice for this short little training would be, think of the end in mind. So let's say you want to do a mastermind. My wife cuts hair. She does hair extensions. She's amazing.
And apparently she's very good.
Yeah, best on the voted best in Arizona. So I'm going to use her as an example. So she teaches people how to do hair extensions. So say she was going to have a mastermind on teaching women or men who are in the hair industry, who aren't making enough money. They're not supporting their family at the level they can. And my wife does amazing. She's going to teach them in person for $10,000 for a 2-day in-person workshop, how to do the extension model, how to run marketing like she does, and how to use assistants to help get 3 times as many people done. So that's $10,000. But if she just offered that, it'd be really hard for a stylist to jump into 10 grand. So that's the end result. But before that, she might have a $497 in-house training on how to do this. It's video of her. She's in a studio. She's doing the hair. She's putting the extensions in. She's showing her passion. She's showing how she does her Instagram and Facebook and marketing and work. So it's an in-house thing for $497. But before that, she might have a $9.95 book on how to take your, in the hair industry, how to rise up, do more, impact more women, more people, make more money. So if she had a sequence where all her energy went into getting this amazing book in people's hands, people get the book and go, wow, this is so good. I wonder what else she has. Oh, wow, she has a home study course for $500. I'm going to get that. They go through the home study course. So this is amazing. Oh my God, I can go hang out with her in person for $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000. And I oversimplified that, and I used my wife as an example, but that's the difference rather than someone having a high-level mastermind, too hard to get them in without them knowing you. They got to know, like, and trust you first. Or just a course or just a book. When you bridge those three together, that's when magic happens.
Hi, this is Alessia and
Kane.
And we're here with Dean Graziosi, and today we wanted to talk about the importance of actually creating assets in our business, and specifically in experts businesses and knowledge-based businesses. So, Dean, tell us all about, how do we create assets, and especially why is that so important for experts, for service providers?
Yeah, great question. Especially because when people think of assets, immediately default to, do I need to own a piece of real estate? Or do I own a stock, right? And the world has changed so much that, intellectual property is worth more than most assets that you can pick up, right? So it basically just means if you're in the knowledge industry and you have a process to help an accountant go faster, help cut hair, fly fish, trim trees, we've identified 4,300 niches our KBB family are using. There's a process in which you've created, and that can be documented. That's intellectual property. There's websites, right? When you create a website that does something, does it collect revenue? Does it help teach people? Does it deliver your value through a website? It's an asset, and it's one of the hidden things that these little companies, these little startups that you see starting in garages all over the world, why did they sell for $1 billion? They had assets. It's like, I didn't see a big building. It's like, no, it was their intellectual property.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's the technology side of things, which you guys have developed some cool technology because as a service provider or even as a knowledge-based business, one could actually create some technology to help out their clients or their customers.
Absolutely.
And you guys did that in the KBB product. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we know three things that I think are really important with anything that works. You need the right mindset. Right, you have the wrong mindset. Doesn't matter what you do. Then you need the tactics on how.
Good
to
thing
do it.
you're partnered with Tony on that.
Yeah,
one.
exactly.
He's got a little
I
experience.
kind of leave that to him. I always say, people say the mindset part. I'm like, I leave that to Tony. There's nobody better in the world. Right. So, but then once you're foaming at the mouth, and he's so good at getting you to, you need the tactics, right? How do I actually do it? But the part most people miss, and this is an unfair advantage that I think most people miss in courses, especially, is if you're fired up, Tony gets you fired up. You know how to do it. Most people go, but what do I do next? Do I get a Kajabi account, a ClickFunnels, or do I build my own? And we built the software, so that's the implementation tool. And in your world, think about that. How can you get them in the right mindset to achieve? How can you give them the tool that makes them do better? And then lastly, what can you give them that they can immediately implement? Learn how to build the website? Go build the website. Learn how to do a video? Go build the website, build the video. And that makes all the difference in the world because they're excited, they know how to do it, and then they actually do it.
Hey, it's Kane here from Kane Alessia and Industry Rockstar. I'm here with an industry giant, Dean Graziosi. And what we're talking about today is how to play bigger games in the world. Now, you're someone who has played bigger and bigger games every year.
Yeah.
And why is it so important to define a game you want to play? And why is it so important to define a big game? We were talking just before about living in Italy.
Yeah.
And Dean and, of course, Alessia and I, we all spend a lot of time in Italy. And, sometimes you go into places where the game is more focused on lifestyle or the life. And they play a big game around lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
2 or 3 hour lunches, right?
Exactly.
Enjoying life, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you're playing a business or a performance game, like in KBB, we talk about how to play the biggest game you can play for yourself. Why is it so important?
I think it's because I live by the theory. It doesn't mean everybody. If you're my family from Italy, you probably think I'm crazy. But for the rest of the world, is if you're not climbing, you're sliding. There's no in between. There's no hovering in life, right? So for me, I need a compelling future to drive me forward, right? So that's really, and I love your definition of the game, right? When I first started in my 20s, I just wanted to not be broke. My family had nothing. My mom worked 3 jobs to make $90 a week. My dad was working on cars to make nothing, right? So my game was, I don't want to be like them. But then the second part of that evolution is I want to take care of them. And it was probably the driver for me. I retired my mom in my 20s. I retired my dad when I was in my 30s. But then after that, I realized, man, there's more people I could help. And that's why I got in the information business in 1997, I think I shot my first infomercial, right? Because I'm like, I can impact more people with that same, how I retired my parents and what I did, what if I help more people? And what it's done for me is allowed me to always have something on the horizon that pulls me towards it, right? So if you look at for me, if I just said, hey, I want to change the world, that seems like a big bite, right? The first thing is change your neighbor, change a friend, change 2 followers on Instagram, then it changes to 5. We talk about Tony, he's my partner and our friend. His first event, His first event, he thought 500 people were showing up. 4 showed up. He's like, you guys could come down here. He sat him in front of him, and he sat next to him in a theater and trained him for 2 days.
And
right?
I bet he had the vision, right?
But
he was
someday it was going to be
500.
filled.
Yeah, exactly.
Someday it was going to be filled. So there's 2 things. It's like, if you look at it like scary, I'm going to change the world. But the place I'm at right now, Tony and I want to make self-education the new norm, and we want to fix a broken education system. That's global. It's huge. It's legacy. But man, I love biting off more than you can chew. And here's the last thing I'll tell you. As you're watching, you say, yeah, Dean, you have money now and you've been around for a long time, but we all started with nothing. We all started scared to death. And it's like Kaizen. How do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. How do you run a 1,000-mile race? One step at a time. How do you save the world? How do you change the world? How do you impact the world? Is impact 1 person, then 5. Then 20, then 40, and then you'll fall, and then you'll learn, and knowledge will become wisdom, and capabilities grow. And it's really just staying in the game and attacking, staying in the game. And
Stay in the game.
And as soon as you master one level and you feel comfortable, no, not as soon as you feel comfortable. When you're almost comfortable, then it's time to go to the next level.
So I had one quote in there from the years of doing work and organizing events with Richard Branson. He would always say to us, Kane, Alessia, you're either living on the edge or you're just taking up space.
Yeah, I love it. That's a great way to end this segment.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Hey, it's Kane, and I'm here with Dean Graziosi, easily one of the world's smartest and longest-standing teachers in the area of building knowledge-based businesses. He's partnered up with Tony Robbins and Russell Brunson, also 2 extraordinary minds in the world of building knowledge-based businesses. And one of the things we want to talk about right now is why it's so important to build a brand. Why can't you just do what you love to do? Why do you need to build a brand? Why is that important?
Because first off, these questions and doing this with you is really awesome, man. I love your depth of wisdom. I see why people follow you. I see why you're helping people with impact their lives. But the brand in today's world is so important because, and this is my belief, and it might not be typical, is because people really want to know your values. And I attach, in my head, I attach my brand to my values. If I say Tony Robbins, right, do you automatically think of who he is, right? You think of his values. You think what he stands for.
Of a big guy.
Yeah, right, and you know how he teaches. You
Brings
know his
power,
he brings
energy,
right?
right? Yeah.
But if I say Wayne Dyer, they're in the same business. When you say Wayne and Tony are kind of in the same business,
Yeah, I think
right. But 2 completely
Totally
different brands,
yeah.
and it's based on who they are,
Yeah.
and they attract some similar people. But I'll meet more Wayne Dyer people, that are more like chill, and meet Tony people like let's go, right? So that differentiator, I believe, is what builds a brand. And then if I go a little further, if you really extract your values and you attach that to your industry, to your brand, it changes the way you feel about business. Like I have 70-something employees in the building we're in right now.
Yeah.
They know my values. They know what our brand stands for. And people who don't have those values or understand our brand, they don't last. And very few don't last because we hire really smart. But I have a whole team that I love being around every day because they know the brand that's based in our values. And it just changes the way work looks through your eyes. If you're trying to replicate someone else's brand, if you're trying to be something you're not, I just never see it lasting in a long, or being sustainable.
Yeah. So, we have always had this saying. One of my favorite sayings is from Keanu Reeves, who says, "Work until you don't need to introduce yourself anymore."
Yeah, that's a good one.
And I love the idea of being able to create who you are in the world. People ask who you are, and that is to us your brand. It's the answer of who you are. It's the promise that you are making to the industry.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what you guys are helping people build inside of KBB.
Hi, this is Alessia from Kane Alessia and Industry Rockstar, and today I'm here with Dean Graziosi, and we are talking about partnership, joint ventures, affiliates, and the power of that in order to build your business. So Dean, of course, you are super, super, super good in that area. So why should somebody that has a knowledge-based business really start to look at partnership? What is the power of partnership? Why should they really put their attention there?
Okay, so one thing I can speak, because Tony Robbins and I did a partner-based affiliate launch, and we did the biggest launch in internet history. So the power of that is unbelievable. Now, I know Tony and I have been in business for a long time. We have a lot of friends. We have deep reach and connections. But if I look back, if someone took everything away from me today and said I had to start over, it's one of the first things I would do is I would go find someone in a similar industry that you're not in competition with. And this is my advice for you, because we get 100 DMs a month that people want to work with us, and it's always about them. Hey, you should promote my stuff. Hey, you should. And here's the people that I end up working with or even reply to, is someone who builds a relationship first or creates reciprocity. So Here's the thing. Identify what it is you're selling. That's the first step. Second, have a product or a service that you've already sold and you know the conversions. Don't try to go get a partner and say, I have this idea I want to sell. It will never work because a million other people are hitting them up. The third part is when you reach out to people that might have a following that would like it, is not only give them the tactical side, it's converting at this, you get $500 for every sale. Talk about the mission behind it, and then also ask them what you could do for them. Like, there's nothing better than reciprocity. If you could do something in advance, give them advice, something that's a core competency of yours. Think about the best relationships in your life. If you have a good relationship, you have a great relationship with your husband. I have a great relationship with my wife. We do things for each other. I do things when she doesn't ask. We don't keep score. But then people go out and want to start a partnership and go, yo, bro, you should promote me. It's like, why should I promote you? I don't know you. I don't owe you. I have nothing. So find a way to build a relationship. Get in masterminds. Get in groups. Surround yourself with the right people. Do something for them first. Show them the science side of what they could make. Get the movement or the mission behind it. And, one or two partners could change your life.
Hi, this is Alessia from Kane Alessia and Industry Rockstar. Today I'm here with Dean Graziosi. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
So excited to talk about how to build really a value-based community, how to find your fans, how to build your supporters online and offline. I'm so excited to talk about that with you and really explore why is that important? Why should people really focus on using social media, etc., to create that community?
Yeah. Okay, so I'll say, if we start with social media, right? What most people do wrong when I see they're trying to build a brand is talk about themselves. Like, you see somebody say, this is what I'm eating. Like, how many more pictures do you want to see of food? Or like, I'm out on a date. Or, yo, what's up? Or like no one needs that. They have their own lives. We're all busy. And you're in a million different person's feed and that they're going as fast as they can. So the way I look at it is, in a sea of black shirts, how do you be the only person with a red shirt on where they go, oh, let me stop? And I think that's value-based. You said it right in the summary. And I think not only delivering value, but how you deliver value. And this is where I think we are in the world. This isn't an American thing. This is globally. Is the world is dying for authenticity on a level that we've never had in our lives. And if this isn't proof, not just me saying it, because I've been in this industry for 20-something years, is my best ads are when I'm the most authentic and real. So we spend millions of dollars on ads. So I know which ads work, right?
I know. We always say, you can't just decide whether you are communicating your values or not, because with everything that you do, you are communicating your values.
You are. Exactly. What a great,
right.
Yeah.
We travel the world. We are active in 32 different countries every year. And just 7 months ago, we had our baby.
Yeah.
And so the last few months, we've been actually traveling around the world, training hundreds of business owners every week with our baby. Now, we were in Tel Aviv, we were in Dubai, we were in Mexico City, and we've always found, these are very, very family-based cultures. And so the value of actually not only talking about family, but showing up there with the baby, with
I love
real.
it.
They love the authenticity so much. It creates such a strong relationship with the community there. It made a huge difference. So I love what you're saying.
Yeah, so
that's
I would just say,
what we see.
No, and I would just ramp up the authenticity. And if it's not just proof about our conversation, look at somebody like Rachel Hollis, right? Rachel Hollis, she's known worldwide. She has the second best-selling book in the world, behind Michelle Obama last year, right? Now, this is a woman who didn't have a best-selling book before this. Second best-selling book in the world. You read that book. It is the most authentic and real. I read the whole thing because she's a dear friend of mine. It's like almost embarrassing in some points. If you watch her podcast, she'll get up with her hair like this and makeup like this, but she's delivering value. And she delivers value to you in everything she does. And she has a following where someone else dressed perfect, doing the right thing, taking a picture of them before they walk in the club, they're like, why isn't anybody following me?
Hi, this is Alessia and...
Oh, me, Kane. I'm here. I always get so excited when she talks. That's all. I forgot.
And today we're talking about one of my favorite topics, which is how to craft your call to actions, how to create an offer that is an irresistible offer that your clients can't wait to actually say yes to. And to talk about that, we are not just alone today. But we have an amazing person with us, Dean Graziosi, of course, with all his experience and expertise about that. So, Dean, tell us.
We brought an irresistible offer.
Right.
Exactly.
And I brought my irresistible offer. I'm just here to just look pretty.
This is an irresistible video.
Sandwich between two Italians. That's
right. That's right.
Okay, so two things. Number one is most people have an innate fear of sales, right? So the first thing is most people just forget the call to action. They just think if we build it, they will come. I shoot a good enough video, they'll buy from me. I'm good enough on stage.
We hear that
I
so
don't need to
often.
ask for the money. But then they wonder why no one stands up and actually buys what they have, right? So first is you got to love what you do so much that you know you're doing people a disservice if they don't get it from you. I know that you've heard that before, but really think about that. Love what you do so you're excited about the sale. I know that might sound weird, but that's why you guys, you know what you do delivers value, so you can't wait to share it. So first off, you got to create a call to action, and you got to be excited about saying it. The second thing is what I think is a little cheat. I'll go really quick, is the bridge between when you're empowering people and then when you sell. You watch people on stage, you know this better than anyone. You see somebody share their story, their impact in lives, and then they go to their sales slides and they're like, and if you want this, you can get it. And then no one stands up and they wonder why, right?
That's right, yeah.
So how do you transition? What I always think is the bridge. Like, what can you do to get your emotions, you know, when you're on stage, when you're on video, when you're writing copy, what can you do to get in that double voice, the one that says, oh my God, we got to ask for the money. How can you make that exciting? And what I think is pre-frame it by knowing if you don't get them to say yes, you can't change their life. And do something that invigorates you. Like you could say, hey, I love spending an hour with you today. That's the tip of the iceberg. And this is a silly one. I've never used it, but it's a really good analogy. That's the tip of the iceberg. But I've just spent the last year building my knowledge industry to give you everything I know. And that's like the base of the iceberg. And I'd love to give you the opportunity to get that in your hands today. Let me explain it to you. So when focusing on a call to action is important, but if you screw up that transition between teaching and asking for the money, you lose their confidence. And do you ever buy anything from anyone that has no confidence? Would you buy something from a car salesman that goes, yeah, this car, well, but it, you know, it's like 15 grand, and if you want it, you can have it. Would you buy it? No. But people will ask for the money on video or on stage that way.
Yeah.
And then, of course, a call to action has to be compelling. It has to be concise, and it has to be benefit driven. Don't tell them how to build the watch. Let them know that it actually tells you what time it is. Like if people, like if you were explaining air conditioning in a car, you don't want to say it's Freon, it runs through aluminum tubes, then a fan, and then when you hit the button, the fan blows. You go, no, when it's hot outside, it's cold inside your car. You're done with that section. Move on. So call to action, go in it with confidence, create a bridge that puts you in a different state of mind, talk about the benefits of how they'll feel after each section, ask for the money, give a limiter if you can, if it's real, and let them know there's a money back guarantee.
And something I'm going to model from Dean, and you know, sometimes people have unconscious confidence, right? And he may know he does it, but something I'm watching Dean's videos and seeing him for years and years. And you know, Alessia and I, in Industry Rockstar, we've spoken in front of 3 million people, and we watched a lot of speakers. I think the number one thing that really has somebody light up is that they're excited to sell what they're selling. When we sit down and we create offers, we create something, we say, you know, if I was in the audience, what would make me so excited as an opportunity?
Yeah.
And then we deliver that. It's actually like, wow, this is actually a great opportunity. I would buy this for myself.
Yeah.
And you give them
have to love it.
great pricing.
Yeah.
You feel like you're giving them 10 or 20 or 100x value on the pricing that you're offering them. And you're excited by it because you know it's going to be a massive support. And that innately gives you that energy.
does.
Dean is often very low energy and you know, really has no excitement for what he does. Yeah, and my experience has always been from your offers and things on TV and cameras and all that. You've always been really excited and proud of what you're bringing, and that
Well,
pride.
I appreciate you say that because sometimes I could seem like a little hypey because I go so fast, but it's enthusiasm and pride. Like I'm so proud of what, like KBB, Tony and I worked on it for over a year.
Yeah.
We're so excited to get it in people's hands.
Yeah.
And if you could love what you do, people feel that. They
Yeah.
feel the authenticity.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Corey Minkus, the CEO of Industry Rockstar, and I'm here with Dean today to talk about the evolved consumer, Dean. I wanted to get your perspective on why it isn't so important today for business owners to understand and experts to relate to their customer, to understand that today's consumer is completely different than the consumer 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago. And as changes happen in the marketplace so quickly, the consumer is understanding that they relate to brands and personal brands differently today. So can you explain to us why that's so important today?
It is because, listen, people make a decision when they know, like, and trust you. That's just right. And we have the ability now, the world has changed. We don't have to go to Piazza in Italy to see if we know someone or meet them at church in America. Like like those days that we get to know somebody through social and through online. The other thing too is, and to back up to make it really simple, is, and this is a part that everybody's gonna listen and hear how brilliant I am, and I'm kidding. This is gonna sound so simple, but it's so real. People always ask me, how have you stayed relevant for 25 years in marketing and advertising? Is because still to this day, I obsess, and I'll read thousands of clients' posts, emails, direct messages, because the world is always shifting, right? We're in a 10-year bull market. When the economy shifts, people are going to be feeling different. They're going to have different fears, different desires. If I'm using the same messaging that I used during an up market and a down market, no matter what I'm selling, if it's weight loss, health, making money, sales, it's all changed. And how do you know your client on the greatest levels? Listen to them.
That's
Listen,
right.
when I was 17 years old, I sold cars with my dad. I outsell my dad 4-1. My dad was selling cars his whole life in his little
Wow.
car dealership. And he always used to joke, like, you little bastard. He'd joke around. I'm like, why? I'm like, because you go out and talk and you vomit
That's
up
right.
everything you want to do for an hour. I go out there and say, hey, so why are you here today?
Right.
They talk to me for an hour.
Right.
And I said, that's why I sell, because I listen.
Right.
And I've kept that my whole life. So it's so important. Two things. Listen to what they're saying. We all create something that we think people need. People don't buy what they need. They buy what they want.
That's
So
right.
they tell you what they want in their posts, their DMs, or their emails. And if you don't have a following yet, go find a competitor and follow all their stuff and see what people are saying. Second is people don't make decisions in today's world, and they go check you out. They said, what's he do on Facebook? What's she do on Instagram? Oh my God, they were drunk at a party last night. I'm not buying from this person. Like, that's what the way the world is, like it or not. Like, oh, I'm just going to be myself. Well, you might be yourself and broke. Like, find a way to create values and stick to them. Listen to what they're saying and provide them what they want. Enter conversations already going on in their minds.